Hello and welcome. Now, this must be one of the most sensitive or intriguing subjects we're ever going to talk about, and it's cleansing the Ghana police. And you think, how is it going to happen? We have the police on the one hand, some of them are not quite straightforward, and then we have the citizens on the other hand who are also not quite straightforward. And then one party is going to cleanse itself. What happens to the other part? The one important thing they've done is an independent body who would investigate the police rather than the police investigating themselves. Now that we need to applaud. How is that going to work? Are they going to be free to do their work? Who indeed is going to constitute this body? We are people in remand and they stay on there for 14 years. And never once do we hear that the policeman who sent this person to remand has even been reprimanded or cautioned or anything. And here we are about to clean the police force. How are we going to do this? With me in the studio is the Kokua Naba, who's Chief Superintendent Na Hamza Yakubu, who's the commanding officer of the formed police unit. And then also to my immediate left is Mina Mensah, who's the African Regional Coordinator for Commonwealth for Human Rights and Initiative. When we come back, it's going to be fantastic. My name is Nana Sakwa, and this is PM Express. Hello, and the topic on the table today, obviously, cleansing the Ghana police. Sounds like an Udra festival for the Ghana police on all over. And with me to discuss this very, very important subject, and I'll start from my immediate left, as Mina Mensah, who's the African Regional Coordinator for Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative. Mina, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nana.
And then also is the Kokua Naba, who is also Chief Superintendent Na Hamza Yakubu, Commanding Officer of the formed police unit. Officer, you're welcome. Well,
Thank you.
Either way, he's a boss, you know. Either way, he's a boss. But cleaning or cleansing the Ghana police. Now, I'll start with you. And I want to start with replacing PIPs with an independent body to investigate the police. I want to applaud that initiative. But who's going to form this new body to investigate the police?
Thank you. I don't think the intention is to replace the PIPs with an independent investigative body. But what it is intended to do is to ensure that there is transparency. In other words, who polices the police?
Okay.
Sometimes complaints are made to the police. We get in there, carry out investigations, and we hear that there are no feedbacks to the public. And so sometimes the suspicion is that they have killed the issue.
Sure.
But then when we have a collaborative But then when we have a collaborative
exactly? The team or...
No. What I am actually saying is that if there is another body that would also have a supervisory sort of authority given by the police itself, that please go check up what is the result of the investigations conducted by the PIPs, so that a meaningful feedback could be given to members of the public. We think that this would ensure clear transparency.
So PIPs are still going to do the investigation?
They would carry on with their investigations, all right.
It's police policing themselves.
That is why there is this need to have another body.
What is the fear of having good lawyers, maybe retired judges, somebody who works in charades, you know, a good team of people who are very well knowledge in investigating matters, to just simply ask him?
Well, the modalities have not come out yet, but nevertheless, at the end of the day, that body should be a body that should be able to oversee all these things. Fine, it's good you have given us this idea, and I believe that the police administration would want to look at such suggestions to make sure that
so a
competent body is put in place. It's a challenge that the police has thrown out. And so the administration would do everything humanly possible to ensure that the confidence that we are seeking to have restored in members of the public is achieved.
Now, I'll stay with you, and before I bring Mina in. You see, our police force was set up by Gordonsberg and Co., and it was predominantly to protect the white from ourselves. And since they left, the structure is still there. So we're wondering, who are we protecting against who? Because the structure is still the same. Keep police in barracks, find a house for them, do this, do that. And we're still keeping it. Let the police investigate themselves, and all these things are still there. And we are 57 years old. So by now, there should be a policeman living on every street and somebody else. I mean, why are we still hanging on to the colonial
I think if one would care to conduct a survey, you would come to the realization that, yes, now we have quite a substantial number of our personnel living in the communities. In fact, it is a present day policy of the police administration that individuals should go hide their own rooms elsewhere, and they are paid a percentage of their salaries. And this is working wonderfully. Most of our members are living amongst the community, and that is what it is actually intended to achieve, to make sure that we integrate well with the community so that we can forge ahead a healthy relationship. But coming back to these colonial relics, I can assure you and say without any fear of contradiction that we have done away with 95, if not 99% of what our colonial masters left with us. Yes. It's about the mode of policing. That is what is important. I'm happy you made the point that it was to protect them. Today, as we do, our own citizens accuse us that our existence is only to protect the government. You get it?
Yeah.
But then we are not seeing it like that.
Well,
we know we are responsible to members of this country, citizens of this country, and that is exactly what we are seeking to achieve.
Coincidentally, I did a show on Joy FM today, and I was saying that the justice system is so unfair and that the poor cannot access it, whether through your fault or not. So yes, I also believe that the way the police is set up, because number one, the IGP is nominated by the president. So whether the IGP likes it or not, you were tilted towards the president in terms of protection. And I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. It's the structure that you came to meet. If I put food in your mouth, you can't bite my fingers off. So in that case alone, and you find so many stories of if some youth ran wild and they are in the name of whatever party is in government, there is a soft glove in which they are treated with. And maybe you won't be able to answer this frankly.
I can assure you that that perception is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Because if it is a fact, then I can tell you that we would have no effective policing in this country. Because, like, let me admit the fact that parties, governing parties, would want things structured in their own way. It might not be coming from the top. You go down their structures, the structures down there, they think that our party is in government, and so we should have our way. Yes, that is something that we encounter quite a lot. And I'm saying that that can never be influenced over the Inspector General of Police. Otherwise, we would not have peace in this country. If an Inspector General of Police yields to such demands, then I'm sorry, society would be in a mess.
I won't drag that matter, even though I have a lot of examples, but I won't drag. But let me bring Mina in here. Now, Mina, now they're going to set up an independent commission to sort of oversee PIPs. Would it give you a bit of confidence? Because I know you chase a lot of sorry stories. Would this bring confidence in, for you guys?
Thank you very much, Nana. The idea of setting up an independent body in itself is a very, very good idea. In fact, it is based on international standards. In a democracy, your policing should be democratic. And that is one of the tenets of democratic policing, that there should be an independent civilian oversight of policing. My challenge here is that from what the IGP said, that body will be set up under the Ministry of Interior. And the idea of an independent body is that it would be independent from the executive and independent from the police, so that it won't be the same as PIPs. Because if you are looking at independent bodies, we have the police council. It is an independent body, but where is it situated? At the police service, at the police headquarters. And how are the members selected? The police is a member of that body. The Ministry of Interior is a member of that body. The vice president chairs that body. So where is the independence? So if you are setting up an independent body, the fact that it will be civilians who are members of that body does not necessarily make it independent. Like you said, the modalities are not out, so we do not know. But there are best practices all over the world. And if you want a good best practice, you don't put an independent body in an office which is part of the executive. The Minister of Interior is part of government, and he's a cabinet member. So if there's a situation where that body is supposed to investigate something that has to do with government, even if it's just a perception, because we are talking about image here, public confidence that the police would be seen or overseen in an independent manner. If it's just having civilians, then they might as well maintain the police council and do something about the police officers who are on it. I
like your opening about a democratic society should have a democratic police. Now, I'll put the question back to you, that we are so sharply divided politically, and we are politically drunk as a people. So if one party is ruling and they nominate somebody to rule, head the police department, how then do the police department say, well, thank you very much for giving me this position, now I'm going neutral? You'll be slanted by the system.
That's a very difficult position. I remember a former IGP, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't think he'll be amused if I do. He said that, listen, even look at the way I am appointed. He was having a frank discussion with us. Look at the way I am appointed. As we speak, as at that time, he said, there is no, for example, any guidelines as to how he operates in terms of how long he's going to stay, when he's going. It's at the whims of government. And so for that, it will take a very, very strong person who says, I'm damning the consequences. This is what I want to do. If you are not comfortable with me, kick me out. How many people do we have in Ghana who are like that? Number two, some of us have been advocating that instead of the IGP's position being that every government comes and changes his or her IGP, it should be like, there should be a specific term of office. And the office of the IGP shouldn't be concurrent with that of government. But other security analysts have said, I mean, for the purposes of a government, if I'm a government, for security purposes, what if there's an IGP who does not like me? But the point is the IGP is not only there for you, the government. The IGP is there for the people. So these are challenges, they are realities that we are facing. Obviously, if somebody appoints you, even if it's not overtly, the person would have some level of influence on how you behave and on what you do, and that is a challenging position.
But I must commend our IGP though.
He's done extremely
honestly,
well.
I must give him, and I was the first to start a campaign, you know, friends of, what's his name?
Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan.
Al-Hassan, Friends of Al-Hassan. Friends of Al-Hassan. Friends of Al-Hassan, when he introduced the visibility police. That was fantastic. However, After about 2-3 months, you realize that, oh, he's not going to arrest me. He's only there. You know, so then the chaos started again, because you get to the traffic light and then you slow down because his pickup is there, all shiny, and he's standing there. He could arrest you. But you just realize, the taxi driver goes by, the motor rider right in the red light, with no helmet, 3 pylon passengers. So then you come and oh, he's not going to arrest me. I haven't got my seatbelt on. He's not going to do anything. So then it defeated the whole object. What is the purpose of him just be standing there and not doing anything?
You would realize that everywhere that they are, especially in traffic situations, as you've just enumerated, you would find traffic men who are supposed to handle that one. Nevertheless, the men on visibility have been instructed to intervene when it is that traffic is getting so jammed up. So that is exactly how they operate. See, their presence, you see, in security, the mere presence of the uniformed policeman is enough to deter the commission of crimes.
Sure.
That is how it is intended to do. Now the first phase has just taken place. Like you are saying, based upon recommendations and observations, we are going to move it further than just merely standing by and watching. Exactly so.
Now this one is on the behalf of all civil drivers, and now I'm putting it to you. There's a lot of traffic in town these days, and as soon as traffic builds up, people drive on the side of the road. And those who stay and obey the traffic are the fools, because the people will drive past the police, and you'll be there for hours. You get to your turn and you realize, so they didn't arrest these people. Maybe I should have done the same. And the motorway, the Tetekwashi near the mall, is a really classic case. I'm sure if you go there now, it's happening, and they won't arrest the drivers on the hard shoulder.
Arresting of drivers, especially in those areas.
Well,
motorway, no. Yes. Just in the immediate past few days, a lot of arrests have been made. Yes, well, and they are facing prosecution. I believe some of them might have been convicted by now. Unfortunately, I don't have the statistics, but I am sure about what I am saying.
Because I know this morning they were not there, which was very bad.
Where exactly?
Motorway coming from Tema into Accra, you know, obviously because of the bridge and the bottleneck.
You see, let us consider this fact that we are not being able to be at every strategic location. It's a long stretch of road. If you don't find us here, you find us there.
No, but I mean, this morning there was nobody there. And I
no,
mean,
that cannot be true, because as early as 5 a.m., police officers are deployed in those areas.
Well, they didn't stop.
Except that, like you are saying, you will not, like I'm saying, you will not get them just at everywhere at the same time.
No, but it's a serious concern, and I'm sure that if 2-3 drivers are stopped, and maybe just keep them there, delay them till the traffic goes or something, and put some fear.
It's exactly what happens. In fact, it's not only civilians who suffer what you say. Sometimes driving in a police vehicle, you would be complying with the road regulations before you see a taxi driver, a truck driver. It happens. And sometimes we get down, we try to restore order. You'll be surprised to hear the sort of comments that will come from passengers.
Wow.
Oh, and a pentem, as if we are pentem, it's an authority to break the law. It's unfortunate. We need to educate more. And in this direction, I think the media will do us a lot of good. If you continue criticizing this, we will do our bit. But I can tell you, our bit would not curtail these things. It would only help maybe reduce it, but nevertheless it will continue.
I'll bring Mina in. Mina, now the police have got beautiful badges. There's a blue one and a yellow one, saying that I do not accept bribes and, you know, do not give me a bribe. As a citizen, does it give you confidence that, boom, something is being done, we're moving forward?
Nana, before I get to that, the chief superintendent, when you mentioned the fact that there are certain areas that the police are supposed to be and they are not there, he categorically said that cannot be true. I am insisting that is very, very true. And when it comes to cars driving on shoulders, even police cars, and even this morning, I'm not talking about yesterday, this morning at First Light, the same happened. At First Light, there's a junction there. And sometimes you get them because the traffic is jammed up. You see a police car crossing and coming to pass in the middle where other cars are coming this way. And the car is like, I'm a police car, so, and they break the law with impunity. Some of them do. I know it is not all policemen who do that, but some do it. Let's acknowledge that it happens and deal with the problem. Because in relation to the banners and stuff like that, if you are wearing a band and you yourself, who is supposed to ensure that laws are obeyed, you are not obeying the law. Because you are in uniform, you are not obeying the law. I should obey the law because I'm a civilian. When you take the uniform off, you are just like me. So I think that it is not all policemen who do it. But invariably, in a lot of instances, it happens, especially when they are in their what those new cars, what are they for? Those big cars they've been using.
The which cars?
The big cars, the pickups that
the Navara?
The patrol vehicles.
The patrol vehicle, the Navara. Yes, especially when they are in those cars, they break the law with impunity. A lot of them. And let's face the fact that it happens. So if you are going to wear an armband, put this thing there, and not adhere to what it says, it does not mean anything. It is good, it is there. It is good, it is there. But at the end of the day, it should go beyond having an armband and having a sticker.
I'm going to take a break. I think we're going to deal a lot on these issues because sometimes the systems itself. So you catch me speeding in Koforidua. I'm coming all the way to Accra. You then say, look, I'm going to take your license, go to Accra, and then come back to Koforidua. Is there no system where you can find me in Accra where I go, so that I don't have to, pay my usual 5 cedis or 10 cedis and be done with it? How are we going to solve this problem? Stay tuned. Cleansing the Ghana police, and just before we went to break, we were looking at bribery. Now, every report, research, perception that comes out will always label the police very high on bribery. Now, maybe they are just the getters. We are the givers. Even though the givers will turn around and point at the getters to say they are very, very bad. And I just want to find out how this issue can be solved. I mean, can you send mystery solvers, police, disguised police, to put DV plates? Because also your boys, as soon as they see DV plates, whatever they are doing, they will stop, chase down your car, and by all means, something will have to exchange hands if they see the DV plates. I mean, can you put maybe mystery policemen, shoppers, and catch them out so they don't know who they are stopping? Or how else are we going to stop bribery?
I can, and I would employ you to take up a research into such happenings and see the extent to which we have made efforts on our own to achieve just exactly what you are saying. We have so many. In fact, one of the very beautiful things that the police administration has put in place currently is installation of secret cameras at certain locations where police officers operate, including some offices.
I see.
It's happening live. And there have been occasions where the IGP has had to invite police officers to his office, confront them over certain happenings, after which a clip is played to them. And so you can see that the determination by the police administration to achieve not total perfection, because we wish we could achieve total perfection, but to achieve a sizable extent of good policing, we are doing everything that we can do.
See, the recent perception of police, obviously very, very low between citizen and the police. Could that be this again, going back to our politically obsessed? So if I come, then you have to, recruit my men. Because it's a profession which is like a teaching, like a calling. You want to serve, to do good. I listen to Kokwa Naba here, and you can tell he's passionate about it. I'll stay in my traffic, and if somebody stays in traffic, I'll point them out. But the new crop that are coming, from how they are recruited, it's like, I need a monthly salary. I'm not here to serve. Maybe I might be wrong, but that's the perception we get.
I would want to say that it is not only true with policing. That is the crop of people that are coming up in recent times. Even in teaching, in nursing, people are not doing their jobs because it's a calling. You know, if there's a wide range of jobs available, people will pick and choose. Here is the case, there are no jobs. So if it's a police that I can join, I will join. And I think that the training is also an aspect that we need to look at. Because I think that policing is apprenticeship. Yes, you learn in the classroom, you are given all kinds of things, but the way the system is now, you spend less than a year in training. So when you come back, you learn under somebody. Depending on who you are learning from, you pick certain things. So for me, I look at policing as it is now, as more of an apprenticeship thing than something that is incorporated within you when you are in school. How long do they stay in school? They are taught certain things like human rights. How much human rights are they taught? What is the practicality? What do they teach them? They come out. This is what is the law, but there is the practice. This is what is being practiced. You go to, I'll give an example. Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative has been visiting certain police stations since 2008. Depending on who is the commander at the police station, you see certain kinds of attitudes. So if you go to a police station where the commander is inclined to be human rights oriented, you would see that a lot of the men toe that line. If you go to a police station where the commander does not really care about that, you will see, yes. So that is also a factor. Generally, society has degenerated. But because the police has certain rules and they are the ones who enforce the law. They are pegged at a certain high moral... expect some morals from them. From them. So, well, we tend to... the litmus test for them is higher.
Yeah. Well, joining us now on the phone is Police Commissioner retired Gifty Eninbotwe. Auntie Gifty, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Well, we're recording in the afternoon, obviously. I have in the studio with me Amina Mensah, and I have also one of your colleagues, Chief Representative Na Hamza Yakubu.
That's a boy.
Yes.
A boy.
I see. You said I should say a boy. No. And we're discussing basically cleansing the Ghana police. The issue we're looking at is how people are now recruited into the police these days. There's too much political influence, so that, look, I just need a job to do. I was up and down the campaign trail, so please push me in there. And we're saying that maybe that's what the attitude we are seeing now, where there's too much disconnect between citizen and policing. But then you are an expert, so you can add some or correct us.
Yes. I'm not sure about recruitment because I'm not there now. So I cannot say that Food Soldier or whoever is being pushed in there. But I agree with the Chief of Police, Mr. Alassane, that the people should build a trust in the police service. So how do people perceive the police? Do they have confidence in us?
No.
That is why he's launched his campaign that we should all fight for the police to redeem its trust in the people. But I'm not sure about the training. But then what I know is that after the training, there should be a retraining. There should be continuous training because the world is changing. New technology and new tactics and all those things. So there should be retraining. Occasionally, there should be retraining for all ranks. I remember when I was an officer, before you take up a command post, any level, you should go to GIMPA to train as a leader. You train in the professional police tactics before you can come and take up any appointment. I also think that what we say, we should do it. We should try and fill the gap between the words that the IGP is using and then the action so that we can restore the reputation of the police. Now we are saying that we're not going to take any bribes. We are saying it. We have to act it. We have to do it so that we can restore our reputation. You know, people don't trust us. People don't believe in us. You stop a car and then you inform a police officer, this driver, I think, is drunk. The police officer will tell the driver, as for me, I'm just standing here and somebody came and said that you are drunk. They don't have the confidence. People are not confident in themselves. So if you're a police officer, you don't have the confidence, how do you act? You see, some time ago, we had professionals. If you are a paymaster, you are a paymaster throughout. You don't go to the chief of police rank.
Okay. If
you're a teacher, you end up at your teaching level. I think you end up at Assistant Commissioner of Police or so. Now they've mixed up all the levels. The professionals and then the professional police officers are all aspiring to be chief of police. Fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But then, everybody who wants to aspire to be Inspector General of Police should take a command position. You should learn to be a commander. You should learn to be a leader from day one, right from the police college. You don't go to the pay office and then when you are Assistant Commissioner of Police, you jump to the general pool to become a senior police officer who wants to be an Inspector General of Police or a commissioner or whatever.
I think these are the general structures in the police, which, you know, now here is agreeing with you very, very much. But what I then want to find out is, in terms of bribery and, you know, bribe giving and bribe accepting, with the systems we are now, you know, apparently a constable has to pay for his own uniform. If he rides a motorbike, he has to buy his own parts for the motorbike to use to do...
It is not true. It is never true. If you are a dispatch rider, if you are a competent dispatch rider, you are given a job to do. Every morning you have to go to the police poll point to take fuel. If you want to do your other duties and you want to buy your fuel, fine, that's your problem.
No, but at the Gifty, we still see police people riding little bikes and police helmets. I don't know if they are working on their own or if they are working for the police.
Nobody should work on his own. The bike is for the police service. Unless it's his personal bike, I don't see why you should use it for your personal duty.
Hold on for me. Let me bring...
The problem... Sorry.
Hold on, let me bring...
The problem here is that the senior officers assigned to these people are just not competent. If you want to do your supervisory roles as senior police officers, I don't see why your dispatch rider should go and use his own money to buy fuel.
Hold on, let me bring
Chief...
hold on, let me bring Chief Superintendent in here. Constantly we see from the mall runabout, from the Caprice traffic lights, there are policemen using their little own personal bikes, you know, in the line of duty. So how is it lawful or is it unlawful?
No. Seeing a policeman in uniform riding his own motorbike to his duty point, it's not anything bad. That is acceptable, provided he also adheres strictly to the laws of this country. He should ride with his helmet on. But if we are talking specific about police dispatch riders, you necessarily need to use a service motorbike, which is provided by the service, serviced by the service to enable you to perform your duties.
Very good. Now, the next thing I'm going to move on is to on human rights, because Mina is here. Mina, and this issue of we put him in remand and the policeman is on transfer. He's in remand, the docket is lost, and somebody could be in there for years. And yet still, we don't see the policeman, whoever went on transfer, went anywhere, being punished. Well, we don't hear it. Maybe now we're going to hear it. And you handle such cases. How are we going to do it?
Thank you, Nana. Once again, I would like to say that, you know, also I was telling the producer that the agencies are not talking to each other. The entry point of the criminal justice system is the police station, but that's only the beginning. The problem with the police at the entry point is quite a number of them do not do proper investigations. Another challenge is that sometimes there are certain crimes that are bailable. For example, you fight with somebody and on the spot the person doesn't die. Maybe after 3-4 days the person died. In all likelihood, what should have happened is they would have been manslaughter. In a lot of instances, you go and the person has been charged with murder, which is not bailable. For example, somebody steals a mobile phone, not through a violent means, but he just picks someone's phone, or steals money, but the quantum is large. Instead of the person being charged with stealing, the person is charged with robbery. It's not bailable. That is one challenge. Now, a lot of times, the police will send the person to court to be remanded. The person is remanded, they keep going, oh, we need more time. There are certain times the dockets are at the AG's department. If the AG does not advise the police, they cannot work on it. In certain instances, the person is remanded, is taken to the prison. It is the police's duty to bring the person to court. Yet the prison might be outside. The police might not have a car, so he's forgotten. The prison service, it is not their responsibility to bring the person to Accra. So the challenge when you look at pretrial detentions, it is not solely about the police. Yes, because it's the entry point, that is what we see. But I think the various agencies are not talking to each other. The police is not talking to the prison is not talking to the police is not talking to the judiciary, you know, there's no connection. So that if there was a connection, if somebody is on remand and something happens or he's being forgotten, the agencies will talk to each other. So it's a circular thing. It's not solely the responsibility of the police, although they bear some.
I'll take a break and then when I come back, now will tell us what responsibility they play and why they are not playing it. Stay tuned. There you go, the new badges. I do not accept bribe. I do not corrupt the police either. So the policeman sees you and says, I don't say bribe. He says, well, I don't corrupt. I don't.
It's turned upside down.
Oh, this one. Oh, and then there's a sticker to go the back of your car. If you zoom in there, so you can stick this one there on your car. And presumably, if the policeman has any conscience, he can look at this and then, you know, basically take a bribe for you. So try and find one and stick it on your car, and let's all help clean the system, because eventually justice will be even and there will be equity. Well, we're talking about remand and the system, and now, how is it possible that you can leave somebody in jail for 7 years on remand? Last one that came out was 14 years and 6 months. I mean, even if he had been convicted for the crime, he would have been out by then.
In fact, for me, I'm even surprised that he stayed that long, because only a few years ago, the government brought in this Justice for All system, where an independent body visits all prisons, and then they review cases of prisoners who have been on remand for long. Then, in most cases, they are ordered to be released on bail. So it's surprising, a bit surprising, how this escaped their attention. I don't know.
It's not like an exception. There's quite a few.
It's been happening, and that is the reason for setting up the Justice for All committee. See, that is actually the reason. Sometimes there are good reasons why some particular group of people should even remain in custody for that long. But then we come to human rights, respect for human rights, and then it's totally unacceptable. It's wrong. I'm saying that based upon, I'm not justifying their long stay or overstay. I'm saying that based upon the fact that when this system was put in place, Justice for All, there was a particular time so many people who had wrongly remained in, on remand for a very long time were released, and that was one reason why there was an upset in violent crimes in this country, because hardcore criminals were released.
But I'm going to bring Atigif in, but I mean, I don't know why you have to release them. Why don't you just try the person and release them if they are innocent?
Like she said earlier, Some of the faults could be attributed to the police, some could be attributed to the courts. The police, our failure might be not sending the suspect to court, or the accused person to court.
I think the police take a lot, because you go and apply for remand and send him to prison. So a greater percentage now, it's on you to chase this docket, and either, because you see, and I think Mina said this, that our perception is that this guy is guilty. Now he has to prove himself.
No, you can
innocent.
never perceive somebody as being guilty until the person is given a fair trial and convicted. You see, for instance, if in violent crimes, you would necessarily have to send the docket to the office of the Attorney General. Even sometime in just some misdemeanors, depending upon the outcome of the evidence that you have, there will be the need to send the docket to the office of the Attorney General, because it is they who have the right to prefer charges.
Let me bring Auntie Gifty in here. Auntie Gifty.
No.
I mean, how can the police send somebody to court, ask the judge or magistrate, look, I need, can I apply for remand or this person because I need to investigate further? And sometimes some of the crimes are really petty. And this guy ends up 2, 3, 5 years. And mostly, I can 100% because they are poor. Because if this guy is rich or is somebody, there is no way you will hold them for a year or 2 weeks and telling him that my docket is lost or I've been transferred. What's the shortfall in that?
Nana, the problem is with the police. Now, if you went and applied for the guy to be incarcerated for some time, so you have to chase it up. You have to go to the wherever you sent your docket, Attorney General's department. You have to chase them to get the docket released for you to go to court. You have to make a personal diary. You keep all the people you've put in cells or you put in jail. You have to know when they are to report to court. You have to find out from the court whether the judge is sitting on that particular time. Then you follow up and bring the person to the court. Now, if you are on transfer, you're handing over. This is why I always talk about supervisory roles. The senior officers who are supervising these people should make sure that in the handing over notes, the person tells him how many dockets he has, where he has reached, which ones are going to court, and what days are the court days. So if you're a senior officer in charge of people and you can't let them be accountable, then you are not competent. Now, every station in the Ghana Police Service now, during this regime, has a car. The car does not belong to the district officer. It is for the station. So there should be a relationship between the CID staff and then the uniform staff. So that when the district officer is brought to the office, the car goes to the general pool. Everybody can use it for the work that should be done. It is not for the district officer's wife or kids to go to school. The car should be in the general pool so that if it's going to someone or Asafort to bring prisoners, the car is booked. There's an entry made. The car is released to somebody to take the convict to court and back.
Thank you. As you can see, hold on there. Let me bring Mina in there. So, Mina, it seems as if it can be hard work to do the right thing.
And that's the thing. So, when Madam said a lot of the problem is with the police, it's not only that. A lot of times, the evidence that they have might not necessarily hold in court, because a lot of cases that we have experienced, you could see that there's no proper evidence to support the charges that are leveled against the person. That it might be true.
Leave him. Let the person go to court.
It might be
Let
true.
the court leave him.
Yeah. It might be true that the person might be from people around, but the evidence that the police might have, or even the kind of investigations that have been conducted, might not support that. So what is done is they go for extension or remand. They remand you, send you there 2, 3, 4 times, you get lost in the system. There are occasions where certain police officers have actually refused to go and bring the people. There are a couple of cases that we were handling. In fact, for one of them, the paralegal in charge of the case had to tell the officer that I will report you to the commander, because he had wanted somebody who was in police custody, because the person's case was ongoing. He had wanted to send her to Nsawam because it's tedious work, back and forth. They go, it's urgent. So he had wanted to send her to Nsawam. And the paralegal was like, if you send her to Nsawam, bringing her back will be difficult, and then she gets lost in the system. So if she's been remanded into police custody, you don't arrange to send her to... Let
me bring Kokwa Naba in here to give you the last word and reassure us that you're going to look after us when you suspect us of something.
Come again, I did not get that.
I said I'm bringing Kokwa Naba, which is my honorable brother, in to assure us that when you suspect us and you put us in remand, you will look after us, because this one you can't run away from. There is a big loophole there.
No, certainly we owe you a duty that once we put you there, we have a responsibility. And this is clearly what the idea is.
There are 8,300 people in remand.
That, for instance, we talk about abuse of rights of suspects. This is one of the checks and balances that we have. In fact, it is even an offense for you to neglect of duty, for you to put somebody into custody over a prolonged period without any justification. Once you are found out, you may be charged. You can't be charged to face disciplinary action for that. So you see that, like she was saying, there are so many.
Round up in 30 seconds for me.
There are so many
of
these things happening. It is from the police, it is from the court system, it is from the AG's department, and so you cannot say that yes, it begins from the police. But by and large, if lawyers who have a responsibility could as well pursue such cases. A lawyer, you take money from your client.
I want to ask,
he's unduly detained.
If I can
do not make a follow-up.
If I can get a part 2 of this case, because this is a very extensive and very important.
In fact, we would wish that you give us a part 2 on this.
I'll be very grateful. I'm thinking I'll tell to my producer to see if early next week we can come back and deal with this issue, because it must be done and it must be dealt with, especially our human rights. You know, they stop you, they take your driver's license, and you're asking, is it done or is it not done? We need to do this. Thank you very much for watching. I want to thank Auntie Gifty, who joined us on the phone. Thank Kokwa Naba. Thank my friend here, Mina. And what I say, you know what, tomorrow we're back to do it all over again. We're talking to Gifty Afeni Dazi. What a wonderful story she has to tell. So tomorrow, stay tuned and watch.